Andreas Burgos, and I am the singer and bass player.
My name is Liam McKiernan, and I am the one of the founding members, guitarist, and backup vocalist for Saturday Saints.
My name is Will Dickerson. I'm the drummer for Saturday Saints.
Will and I have known each other since kindergarten, and went to elementary school together, and went to different high schools, and we started playing guitar around, I want to say 1992, 91. Once we went into high school, this was around the time that Nirvana started to come out, and you know, Will was doing his thing freshman year, I was doing my thing, and then we met up in a town called Bronxville, and we just started reconnecting, catching up, and I found out that he had started to play guitar, and at the time I had started to jam with a guy who was in my high school, and we needed a rhythm guitarist, and I said, would you be interested? And he was down to do it. So we started to jam, and I was like, okay, this is coming together, this feels like it could actually be something. And then he told me about this guy that was at his school. He's kind of like a weird dude, and but he had like a great voice. He had a voice that was very much like mature for a 14-year-old.
I was in study hall once, and I was I don't know what I was doing, but I heard this this voice from afar singing. I think it was Even Flow or some kind of Pearl Jam song, and it ended up being Andreas Burgos, who became the lead singer to our band. And I went up to him and was like, "Do you sing?" It's like, "Well, I don't know what he said, but he was singing in the moment." I was like, "You want to come over and jam, play in a band?" And that's how it all started.
I think it was Friday the 13th, January of 1995. I went in, did one rehearsal. I had so much fun. I could feel the energy with them, and I think from there, I wanted to keep doing it forever.
And I think the first song, and these guys can check me on it, I think it was When I Come Around was the first song that we played together as a band. And I remember very much in that moment being like, something's happening here. Like, I don't know what it is, but it very much felt like it was the greatest version of When I Come Around ever, even though it probably was like unlistenable. But there was a connection there, and there was a confidence in Andreas as the singer, and Will and I connected, and everything just seemed to hit, and I was like, okay, I think this is what it feels like to sort of be in a band at this point. So that was sort of the origin of the three of us getting together.
For one reason or another, it never worked out with the drummers, right? Like, we went through a number of drummers, maybe like 3 or 4 or 5 drummers, and it just was never quite a fit. And I just got sick of it. I was like, hey, drumming can't be that hard. Like, maybe I'll give it a try. So I just started playing drums with sticks on pillows on my bed, watching Dave Grohl play, to the point where I can like figure out how to hit the drums at different times. Because for me to actually get my parents to buy me a drum set, I had to convince them that I had the potential to play, and I had to convince myself first, because it's not easy. Because your limbs are doing different things. So for like a couple of months, I was doing it to see if I could make any sense of it. And once I was able to crack it, I was like, oh yeah, my limbs are doing what Dave is doing. I think I could do this on drums. I guilted my parents into getting me a drum set.
Maybe for the verse, a little bit on the higher side.
Like
a hair.
Like
that's cool.
It just brings them out a little bit more. It gives them a little more tone.
That's cool.
Probably just leave it there for the whole thing.
Next up. And then leave the backup. Yeah, that's good. Right.
Yeah, I mean, it started out pretty you know, intense and high energy. Obviously, you're in high school and you think the sky's the limit, right? And then we went to college and we kept the band together, but kind of did our own separate things. Then I ended up moving to California for about almost 20 years, 17 years, where I was making movies.
When you scan the headlines every day, like we do here on RFL, you often see some of the same themes repeated over and over again, even when the stories change. Take, for example, mental illness, drug abuse, suicide. 3 obviously very personal topics, but for, well, a large portion of this population, they know them all too well. Too often, we lose the personal ways of discussing and even digesting them, which is why we wanted tonight to learn more about a new film called No Alternative, which hits all 3 of those issues and more.
This is a film that is inspired by my sister and her struggles with mental illness, specifically borderline personality disorder. But it also focuses on her musical pursuits and Guy Smiley's musical pursuits, which is our band's name from back in the day. First we were Guy Smiley, then Latter-day Saints, and then Saturday Saints. What was really cool about it was we got to use a lot of the music that we recorded back in 2001. In the film, the soundtrack to the movie ended up getting some exposure. We ended up winning a few awards for the soundtrack, which got the attention of an indie record label. And we ended up getting a record deal, which was something we always wanted to, obviously, to achieve back when we were teenagers. So, you know, we were in this really interesting, strange, and awesome situation where 20 years had passed, and we weren't totally defunct as a band. I mean, we still got together and played, but we certainly weren't taking it seriously, like we were doing it in any sort of professional sense. But this was an opportunity that presented itself to take the band into a professional arena. It was funny to find ourselves in a situation where in our early to mid 40s with kids and trying to make a go as rock stars.
You know, there's something interesting about 25-year-old music that you're discovering for the first time. And I know that a lot of this stuff was written a long time ago, but to hear how it applies today so fluidly is the immediate appeal. And then, let's face it, there hasn't been a lot of good music out there. There's some, but when you get your hands on something like Saturday Saints that's familiar and new, it's gold.
The album that we did that came out 2 years ago or whatever, very much I was in a dark place. The pandemic, obviously a lot of stuff was going on. I had 2 very young daughters. Didn't have a lot of, outside world contact. So I think a lot of it was sort of like a hard, sort of, I guess, introspective look, for better or for worse. There was a lot of band tumult. It was getting to work together with guys again that we hadn't written music or worked together in 20-something years. So that's essentially like an entire profession where you could have retired. You could have started a job and retired a job on a pension at that point. So to go back in, at a mindset like that, where guys have lived full lives, it's tough. So I think that's sort of, and not that lyrics are about anyone in particular or anybody in the band in particular, it's just sort of like, this is like, it's a relationship that needs to take a lot of work and it's exhausting. And I think those other guys have touched upon it too, where we're not 17 and 18 years old anymore. I can't just play guitar for 9 hours in my bedroom. Like, I have responsibilities. I have a full-time career. I have a wife. I have kids. So it became very much like, if I'm putting in this work and this effort, like, you better be fucking putting in the effort too. So that was a struggle, and I think maybe a lot of that came from that.
When you're hearing a band live, you're hearing their soul. When you hear a record, it could be take number 6,000 spliced together with take number 3. You will always hear a band's authentic self on stage. And when you're in that crowd, it's family. Everybody, you don't know the guy sitting next to you, but you know the same words to that song. And he has a story about how he got into it and what it means to him, and you have yours, and it's a shared collective love. There is nothing like a live performance, and any band, I think every band benefits from playing live.
You guys brought earplugs.
It's really my a deep pleasure to be introducing Saturday Saints with my dear friend Liam McKiernan at the helm, and I want to thank this band for bringing their talent to rock the night. I'm going to turn it over to them, and thank you.
As time has gone on, and the more I've gotten people communicating with me about our band and hearing things like, hey, you inspired me back when you were playing Battle of the Bands in high school. Oh yeah, you inspired our band too. And you know, just recently a friend of ours saw a video clip and I was like, oh my God, that's you guys? Like, I remember seeing a VHS copy of that tape at a friend's house. That's why I started playing bass. That's why I started playing in my band. And so I think that's the legacy almost of any band, is that it's not about like me and what am I gonna leave behind in the sense of how it's gonna, you know, make me feel great, and you know, and like make me feel like important, but more so it's this communication with your audience and with your family and with your friends and with everyone who hears it, and how does it affect them and does it inspire them? And that's kind of like what I think every band wants to do, is that, yeah, they want to have fun doing this, and that's, you got to check that box. But you also want to inspire other people. Why not? Why not have it be that you inspire someone and then they inspire someone, and just like have it be this domino effect of this beautiful thing. And even our children, you know, we've all got children and we can see it. Where, you know, I know my boys are a little older. They love playing the guitar. They've got an electric drum set now. They love to record music. They're starting to listen to all these bands. They're introducing me to ideas and concepts in bands that I would have never even met. So in a way, it's almost like, again, it's this give and receive kind of thing where you're giving out something but something comes back with it. And it's a beautiful thing. It's like, it's really fulfilling.
Can you guys believe how full of shit this guy is?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. I heard you creak the door open, and I was like,
Good thing I didn't cut on that. Yeah, I know.
Should we bring it on?